What's the motherfucking deal? What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to South Sports. If you're not familiar with South Sports is Houston, Texas Homer Network. We're talking all sports, but only Houston. I'm trying to see why it's got this little looking weird thing. I don't know what the fuck is going on in the background here. But talking all sports, but only Houston. With that being said, man, we gonna get into what does that look like? That what is that? Oh, that's why. Okay. Yes, pardon me. Like I say, that a little bit of a slow start here, but we will get to this Tampa Bay versus Texans matchup here coming up just shortly. But we got a gentleman from around getting down with us this afternoon, man. Who we got in the mix this late morning, early afternoon, whatever you want to call it.
Third Coast Sports TV. Wings in the building once again.
Already. So, and like I said, we've been covering this throughout the week, and like I said, there's been a few new little implications, new little wrinkles that have happened that we have discovered today. Some things that I really want to get on, but we'll get to that in just a second. But let's see, we got joining us this this morning, afternoon, whatever it may be. And I hate when I change the thing, it resets. I also saw D. Pritchett in there earlier, and I think Daniela Williams. I saw a couple other names, but like I say, when the chat starts going, it removes some stuff. But I see 335 in the building. Taylor Bates, H-Town Sports. T-Mac, what's the motherfucking deal? Gilmore 713, what's the motherfucking deal? H-Town Sports. FaZe, let me see. Josh, Dirty South. Play Keeps, what's the motherfucking deal? Naveed, what's the motherfucking deal? Vincent in the building, what's the motherfucking deal? Titans up. Go Bucks. yeah, y'all better hope to be. Y'all better worry about them Saints first. Y'all better focus on what y'all got to do. Three Honks, what's the motherfucking deal? Professor Trio, what's the motherfucking deal? DJ Roy, Kenneth, My Swag, Slim, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see, TBG, what's the motherfucking deal? Y'all was talking about some stuff. Y'all need to hear what I was talking about in the beginning. Y'all wasn't supposed to hear all that. We was exchanging some information. Y'all ain't supposed to hear everything. Goddamn. Let me see. Joseph, what's the motherfucking deal? D. Pritch, what's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to D. Pritch, man. Hey, look, say it every day, every time. If you are a Texans fan, okay, that's like one. And then if you use Instagram, that's one. And what is 1 + 1? Equals 2. If you're a Texas fan that use Instagram, then you need to go follow motherfucking Texans Palace, man. Like, so stop bullshit with yourself. We'll keep you up to date on all the info that's coming out, everything that's shaking with the Texans. So make sure you're on top of that. If you're on the ground, follow the Texans Palace. Jake Stock, what's the motherfucking deal? I see Glenn, Texas Trio, Miss Voodoo Child, the better half of the greatest moderating couple in all the land. Philip Villarreal, Gustavo, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Hey, look, Jack. Like I said, it's a lot to get into, man. Yeah, shout out to Side with Pride, wherever you represent. If you are from the greater Houston area, make sure you shout out your Side with Pride. And if you're not from the greater Houston area, you can shout out where you're from, man. We'll still send a little bit of love, a little digital love in your direction, because it's all good, man. It's nothing but love, man. Big Justin and Kellen Boys, what's the motherfucking deal? So, like I say, I see Northside in the building, Virginia in the building already. So, Emario in the building. Like, so here's my thing, man. And some different news has popped up recently, right before the thing. I want to get into that. I ain't seen the Tahitian treat, and I couldn't tell you when. They redesigned the can and shit. Oh, damn. Wow. That is amazing. That brings back memories. I fuck with the Tahitian treat over the Hawaiian punch. But,
oh, yeah.
But some things have changed, and I think, I guess, because we've covered a lot of stuff, and other than, Hyde and Fuller being active, we're going to talk about that in just a second. Some news just kind of rolled out today, and we were kind of briefly discussing this right before the stream. And I want to know your thoughts, because we kind of hinted at this the last couple of weeks. We've seen the whispers and murmurs of this being a possibility. And they're saying that, if the Texans' playoff hopes are still in doubt, that it's a possibility that J.J. Watt could play Week 17. I'd like to know, your thoughts on that, and then I'll kind of expand my personal feelings on that.
Honestly, I want because we were kind of touching base on it. I want to hear your personal thoughts first, man.
I mean, straight up and honest, I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's retarded. I think the fact that if it's your playoff hopes that are determined on J.J. Watt, and I've been telling y'all all season, this is not a knock on J.J. Watt, but I've been standing strong with this, like I say, from the very beginning, because I remember Ferocious ass in the very beginning of the season, well, if J.J. Watt goes down, what does that mean the Texans are going to end up picking in the draft? J.J. Watt does not impact the game like that as far as the terms of wins and losses. Situational, yes, but J.J. Watt is not going to change the outcome if you're going to win a game or lose a game. If that was the case, we can go back to that Panthers game, that would have been a different outcome. J.J. Watt is a luxury to have. It makes it easier on your defense. But my thing is, if it's determined on your playoff hopes, on whether or not you bring it back to me, that tells me that you're not 100% sure of his health. Then why would you do that against a team who you've already went in their house and beat them? Unless that's telling you that you're playing scared or whatever else. I understand having all weapons and all this other stuff, but I think it's stupid. I think if you're gonna bring him back, then get into the playoffs first, because I think that'll have an impact on the long-term health. If not, then don't play him. You know what I'm saying? If you don't make it to the playoffs without him, then you shouldn't fucking be playing him. Like, you shouldn't be gambling his health on whether or not it's a possibility of making the playoffs. So, that's stupid to me.
And let's expand on that, Honcho. Like when we talked about this a few weeks ago on the Sauce, what was the word that I used to describe what the Houston Texans franchise would be? I want to say the word was negligent, right?
Too much. Yeah, I believe that was the word.
Negligence was the word that was the right word that I used. I want to say Tenny was on the show as well. it screams negligence, and it screams your scout ability, and it also screams what you lack and what you know you don't have on defense to affect the passing game of these quarterbacks. The quarterbacks have done what we assumed they would do before the season even started. Even in losses, dudes have still put up. Matt Ryan still put up well over 300 some yards and 30 points on us. Um, it's just so many games that I can go down throughout the season where the pass rush has been as severe as you already came into the season without Jadeveon Clowney.
Correct.
Okay, Duke Ejiofor got hurt months ago with an ACL, so you're already down. Okay, you draft Charles Omenihu. He's made some plays, but he hasn't given you the type of splash play. He hasn't given you the amount of production that going into his first season, which I do believe there's some things he'll be able to work on, and he'll be a lot better going into next season and beyond. But as a rookie, from what we needed an instant impact player at the pass rushing position, whether it be on the line, whether it's off the edge, whether he's outside linebacker, however they choose to use him. But it's just the fact that you knew you went into the season only with JJ, and they thought because JJ did what he did last year, which had to be tied to what Jadeveon Clowney did because he was the ultimate game record and everybody got to eat off of what he was able to contribute. And not to say that J.J. Watt didn't make his own way and he didn't win the matchups he was supposed to win, but it was easier to win those matchups when they have the game plan for somebody who's just as viable as you are. He had youth on his side. He had, just so many things, but it's just like, it just goes to show, and it's part of the scapegoat process for Rack. It's built in. If you're really watching, it's just like it's so built in to get rid of Rack when this year's over, regardless of what we do. It's so evident because boom, we couldn't get it done. I mean, he's never really been able to get it done unless he's had the talent. When you look at really any season that we've had, but it's just like, why are you wasting playoff hopes on J.J. Watt, and at the end of the day, you rushing him back? Because if he was a picture of health, if he was this, if he was that, he'd be on the field playing already. He'd be in practice. How was he not at practice, but somehow he could play a game last week? So he can totally miss practice. Because I haven't heard anything. If anything has come out about him playing practice, I'm talking about throwing balls
about practice
the games. I'm talking about him actually being in a practice environment, going against guys that he has to see every day, and making shit happen. Like, it's not enough, man. It's not enough. I mean, we need all the bodies we can. I'm not totally against it, but for the player, I want him to be good. What's the point of bringing him back if he's going to end up having another setback and then he has to spend another offseason rehabbing when he should just be working on his craft and getting rest?
Yes.
I don't know, man. This franchise thinks backwards, and look at what they're doing to the greatest defensive player we've ever had.
Correct.
And this is how they treat him.
I agree, and that's part of the problem. And shout out to Tyler Weir, Professor Trio. You have to get him off you when he said you look like a shaved, cowardly lion from the Wiz. And shout out to Miss Voodoo C. Appreciate the love, y'all, for supporting the channel. They say I look like I drive a '93 Chevy Cavalier with racing stripes. This nigga, Professor Trio, you got too much time. Keep your eyes on the road, nigga.
I'm gonna handle him when I'm. Yeah. I'm not even gonna waste no time on this part. He's a disgrace to PA.
And they say they ran that man out of PA, man. That's why you're on the road. So
he ain't never in PA.
That's tough.
I can't be sure if he part of that land of the Trill, like he says. If Trill is his real name,
It's questions.
I don't know.
Questions. We got questions. We need information. I'm gonna have to reach out to my people in PA and see what they know. But here's the thing, though. And again, like I said, this is not a knock on this light, but is it worth it? Because to me, what this says is that he's not 100%. You're risking, bringing him back for what purpose? And I think it was said, I'm not sure if it was you or it may have been someone else from around, that said that at best, if you bring him back, he's probably a situational guy. So
Yeah,
what is the point of bringing JJ back to risk this? And again, if you talk about long term future JJ Watt, how much if something happens, knock on wood, how much of a setback is that then? How much more of a problem does that cause? You're talking about looking towards next season and beyond. To me, there's a lot of questions. And is it really worth it? Again, against a team who you went in their house and you beat them. If you're not confident enough to feel like, well, we still got the tools to handle them when they come to Houston where they don't win. Again, and it could be a media rumor, but this is what's been put out there, and this is what's been said. Now, Tyler, you asked if they don't get out the first round, should they be fired? Absolutely. I'm still sticking to my thoughts of if it's not an AFC championship game, these guys need to battle because you've had more than enough time to get a divisional win, and not having done that. I mean, at the very least, considering, like I say, the most astounding stat with this team is how the only two times recently in recent years that you haven't won the division, both of those teams went to the AFC Championship. So to me, that sets a bar. Like I don't want to. We finally got one in the division. We got a divisional round. Like you have to get to the AFC Championship. Otherwise, you got to get these guys out of here. And if we settle for anything less as a fan base, we're settling for mediocrity. I mean, there's no way you can't. But build this, but build that. How does a team come in the one year that they win this division, go to the AFC Championship? Not only once, but twice, two different teams. And you're
right.
still accepting what's going on from the Texans after they've won it. What this will be the sixth time under Bill O'Brien, fifth, sixth time, whatever.
This is his 6th year.
It'll be 6 years, and he hasn't got you there. There's no way that you can accept that. There's absolutely no way. There's no excuse that you can make. I don't care about how good Baltimore is. You better find a way. You've played him already. You better find a fucking way. If he's that quality of a coach, you find a way. And again, that's it. I refuse to accept any less. If you can't get there, get him out of there. Evans and Godwins are both out, so they're going to stop themselves. So they're not playing today, so they already stopped. Let me see. Who else now? Like I said, don't sleep on Perriman. Don't sleep on what. Don't sleep on what this offensive scheme can come up with.
And Howard either.
Yeah, and it's just like, Howard already talking like he sees some holes in his defense. They ain't even on the field yet. So Howard already talking like he plans to have a big game. Don't expect, Leftwich is it's going to be interesting. Like I say, Spitz has been mentioned all week. Watch what he does, and compared to our offensive game plan and what they do with a lack of weapons, missing their number one, number two guys, and what they're still going to be able to do. It's going to be very interesting. I know y'all talk about Jameis has a lot of turnovers. Don't just count on that.
He got a lot of touchdowns too.
Exactly. So
and yards.
Yeah. So like I say, it's a lot of things, but like I say, some good news that did come out of this. And another thing, we're gonna talk about that too. But Hyde and Fuller being active, Hyde to me is essential to what we do. But like I say, this Bucks has a stout front, and it's gonna be tough to run on them. Again, do you come out? Do you think Bill O'Brien comes out the way that he normally does, trying to impose his will with the run game, or do you think that he realizes today might not be that day? Let's focus on airing it out because that's where our advantage lies. What do you expect?
I look at it this way: the best thing would be to air it out, but you have to have that constant threat of the run. And I think this is a game where, okay, if you can't run up the middle, they're not going to be able to stop Deshaun Watson on a run pass option. None of those guys are going to be able to hawk him and chase him down. JPP, not Vita Vea, not Ndamukong Suh. Now, I was talking to Spitz earlier about our work program. Shout out to Spitz, man. And we were having this conversation, and because they are so stout, unless they really cut off the backside on run, and unless the Titans are really playing, and they're playing real, because I think this is a game that's going to be one of the trenches on either side of the football. I just feel like whoever has the best day in the trenches, because I can see this is a game where Deshaun Watson could very well take 4 or 5 sacks. I think like if they push the pocket enough, and I think Ndamukong Suh is going to be able to handle, and Vita Vea is going to be able to handle Nick Martin. I think that's going to be a little bit too much for him. So they're going to have to do a lot of combo blocks. They're going to have to have another pulling guard coming from the other side to seal off the backside. It's a lot of things that's going to end up having to happen if they want to have any success. And I feel like the best way, they're going to have to run a lot of outside zone this game. I think that's the only way you're going to do it. So you have to kind of, if you see that you can't go up the middle the way that they would very well want to, running the ball with Carlos Hyde, I think you could change the pace up and run to the outside or run some inside zone with Duke Johnson. And then if you want to get him further off, then dump the ball down to Duke Johnson and let him be a major threat in the passing game, because I feel like he's a guy who could definitely take advantage of anybody that they have, because I'm not worried about their outside of Levante David and at the second level. I'm not really worried about anybody. I'm not worried about any safety they have. I'm not worried about any corner they have. They can get lit up just as much. So Deshaun Watson's gonna be able to put in work, but it's just like you said, David Garrard's gonna be able to have this scheme right, man, for these guys to come out. And the fact that they were making plays even once Godwin went down, regardless if it was the Detroit Lions, it just lets you know that these dudes got some tricks up their sleeve and they able to get any of their guys open, and all Jameis has to do is deliver the ball. And without any pass rush, not having Jake Martin and Bernard McKinney, and if they were going to be using Bernard McKinney, they need to use him as a pass rusher. I feel like in the middle of the field, he's not as good if he has to drop back in the coverage. He's shown, a couple of wrinkles over the last few weeks when they've going back to cover two schemes. When he tries to drop back in certain depths, he just can't. He just, he's getting taken advantage of. Zach Cunningham has stepped his game up, so allow him to be the Mike linebacker today and get everybody in the right situation. You're gonna have to play Scarlett as your Sam. You're gonna have to play a lot of 4-3, and you're gonna have to play Whitney Merciless as your will linebacker today. And it's just gonna have to be that situation. They're gonna have to, if they play sub, they're gonna have to more than likely bring a safety to play the linebacker spot next to Zach Cunningham when they go to that spot. If they're not doing that, and if they don't have anybody that they can come downhill and play and fabricate some kind of pass rush, Jameis Winston's gonna be able to eat this motherfucking defense alive.
And we've seen the struggles in the passing game, so it's gonna be very interesting. But here's a situation that we've been talking about on and off throughout the year, and again, it's kind of reared its head again, and you have questions, and we need answers. Keke Coutee out again today. What is that saying about Keke's future as a Houston Texan?
It's saying his only use is the only use he has with the mistakes that he's made is only because if Will Fuller goes down, that's the only way you can play. And even in games where Will Fuller didn't play, he still didn't get the burn. Fucking DeAndre Carter was getting the nod over him. So he has to feel defeated in this whole situation, to know that he's a healthy player, to know that, he was picked up in the 4th round by this football team, and that they believed in him at one point in time. He was making a lot of plays. I understand he had a lot of injuries, but that's not the case this year. The man is a lot healthier. He's been able to make some plays when he's been targeted, but I can understand, he's made a couple of mental errors and running the wrong routes and things of that nature. But I think that's more. It could be. I'm not gonna put it all on O'Brien, because he still has to work to make sure that he handles his craft first. So I'm gonna address the man who has to make the plays first. But then I have to address the coaching staff for not doing anything to make sure that they have their trust in him. Because I just feel like the lack of what O'Brien wants also makes Deshaun Watson not target him as much. And you can see the regression from when Wes Welker was here last year versus whoever they have as the wide receiver coach this year. And it's just one of those things where they stunted his development way, sooner than sooner than any other player of that magnitude to make those type of plays. It'd be exciting. And it's not like people don't know about him. People don't know he's a threat. It's just that Bill O'Brien is shelving this dude, and I think he's doing everything to make sure this dude is healthy. So when they get ready to trade him, if they get ready to get him, ship him up out of here, boom, no team has to worry about any injury bug, and this dude can just get right up on your team, no problem, and you don't have to worry about clearing any physicals and shit like that. So that's the main reason I think they're doing. They just like, bro, we're gonna keep this dude healthy, so we're not gonna play him unless we have to. And when he does, if he fucks up, it's even more case of why we should cut his ass.
Yeah, and like I said, I think he's been done bad. We've seen that he's a talented kid. We just need somebody to work with him again. Where did Wes Welker end up going?
He went to San Francisco, and that's exactly where he's going when he leaves here.
Exactly. So
if he's cut, he's going to San Francisco.
Exactly, and he's gonna be out there with Jimmy G, and boy, it's gonna be a bad.
And
deal.
Kyle Shanahan calling plays. Oof.
And then they say, because you see what happens when Texans leave here, and then fans wonder, well, why couldn't that guy do that when he was here? Well, y'all happy with so far, 6 years of the same old man. Look, we're 130 something deep. We got 40 something likes, man. Hit that like button. Let's get to that.
You'll have people
mark.
say, "Oh, he wasn't really that good anyway."
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's what we're talking about. And again, he's had his mistakes, but how do you explain the regression? And that's the problem to me. Like, if you're if you have a quality coach staff, you get better, even if it's just a little bit better. Last year, comes out and have 2 games of I don't know. Did he have double digit catches in that second Colts game or in the playoff game?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
and
100 plus yards. And then
in both Colts games that he played, I'm not sure if he played in the second one, but he definitely played in the third one. He was the only one to get a touchdown in the game.
And that's what I'm saying. So it's like how does this guy come out his first game, ball out, come out in the playoff game as a rookie when you've never seen rookies do too much, ball out. You're only guy that shows up, even with Hop out of there and everybody else out of there.
Right.
But then now this year, you can't get him right. The routes ain't being ran right. Like, you don't have somebody working with this guy because this guy could be a legitimate X factor. Now, you can feel how you want to feel. Y'all can talk about special teams, whatever. Obviously, he was willing to do special because he did special teams in the preseason, but that shit got him hurt. So if I was him, I wouldn't really want to fuck with it too much.
Me either.
But it is what it is, man. So
if he wants to play for this team, if he wants to continue to play for this team, he just got to do what he got to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much until he takes a level. But shit, you can't get better if you ain't on the fucking field.
Correct. Yeah.
There's plenty of other bum ass dudes that's been out here on the field. They gave Sharice Wright all the time in the world last year. Keke Coutee has a somewhat of a down year. Mm-hmm. It's not on his own doing. A lot of it is. I can say half of the blame is his, and the other half is them just not playing the dude. You can't get better if you don't have the fucking reps.
Yeah.
I never seen no dude get better from. I never seen nobody make plays from the bench.
Yeah. And that's part of it. You get all the mental reps you want to, but I think, and then part of it, like I say, is mental, psychological. When you know that, come on, we know that with Bill O'Brien's doghouse, when you in the doghouse, and that's gonna make you feel a particular kind of way. It makes you respond a couple of certain type of way. We don't open up the line in the pregame. We open up the line in the postgame show. So postgame show, we'll have the line open up so y'all can call in and have all your thoughts. But and like I say, a talent that's readily available that you should be utilizing on your team, but for some reason, instead of putting him in the doghouse, you should be, maybe giving him some special attention. Maybe you should need to, take him time. Okay, well, what's the problem? Where are we having miscommunication here? Why are we not on the same page? Because if you're willing to risk and do stuff like bring JJ back in a situation where he's not 100%, and you want to have all hands on deck, have all weapons available, then you should be working on improving a certain weapon that you have in fucking Keke Coutee because that he's able to do it. But instead, Bill O'Brien expects people to come here, hit the field day one with this complicated ass scheme that he wants to run that doesn't work, that has regressed over the years, and you get mad at these guys. There's a common denominator over the years that people have had issues other than veterans, that people have had issues. People have had issues over the years picking up your scheme, especially younger players. So maybe what you're doing, especially trying to get people, rolling in this office, maybe you're doing a little too much. Well, he did get hurt outright, but they shouldn't have had to play in special teams. God damn it, bro. You know
right.
But
I was never on that. I mean, Brogdon was so with that. He need to play. He done this before, bro. I told you, fuck that. If he ain't gonna play it, he gonna be gone. The only way. He says if him and Bill have a conversation, he'll be like, bro, Bill, I'll do whatever I need to do. I just want to stay on this team. And if he's talking, he chalked that shit up. But people acting like if Keke get on returns, that he just going to be housing these hoes like he trending Holiday or something. Like, nigga, is he supposed to be Devin Hester or something? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. He ain't even Wendell Williams or what that nigga was doing in the returns. You know what I'm saying? When he was in college. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, he's not going to be any better than DeAndre Carter in that situation. I don't feel that way. I mean, he could be, but he has the NFL experience to do that. The NFL experience to be a returner for Keke is non-existent. You haven't really seen it with the exception of the preseason, and when you did see it, the nigga got hurt.
Yeah, now I see everybody asking about the Roughnecks. I'm seriously considering. I'm still debating between the Roughnecks on this channel or on South Sports TV, but I might put him on this channel. That way we keep it all football, and that way
Yeah,
we keep
yeah.
that football energy going. But so yes, but they will get covered one way or another.
Mhm.
So looking at Zach, and we mentioned Zach earlier, and then we'll get back to kind of some of the comparisons between both teams. But looking at Zach,
Mhm.
do you think that Zach is being underrated by the rest of
Oh
the league?
yes, absolutely. No, no. Now, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of pundits in the media know and speak on Zach Cunningham, and are letting Zach Cunningham. They mention him when they talk about other players on this football team. He does get mentioned, but is he being mentioned up there with like Luke Kuechly? You know, Bobby Wagner and guys like that. C.J. Mosley a year or two ago. No, is he being mentioned like Darius Leonard was last year? No. And he could very well end up having a better season this year than Darius Leonard had last year as a rookie. You know what I'm saying? He's looking like he's on that pathway because he's been destroying dudes left and right. Like he's been looking similar to the way that Clowney was looking when he was like chasing dudes down and running them down. Like you just see this level of dominance, and I just see Zach Cunningham is going to be probably the best linebacker in the game come the next couple of years or so. He's going to be in that conversation. Now, I can understand a major reason for him having a lot of the production is because he's had to step up in a multitude of ways, and run defenses. It went up on a totally different level. People didn't think he was strong enough. He was able to do things. Man, that man is able to diagnose, run sideline to sideline, whiff shit out, and his instincts are just so much better. Like I can tell, like bro, he watches a lot of film, and it shows on the football field. And his athleticism is extremely underrated. That play he did last year on the goal line, and how he whiffed it out, and when they tried to misdirection him, and he went in, he peeled back, and he stopped that play, bro. Like right before Tannehill scored, that was a sight to see, man. Plays like that stick out to me. He won't be forgotten. We're gonna definitely give him his credit on this channel and beyond. But he's doing anything better than any linebacker, including Levante David, is doing for the Bucs right now. There's no better linebacker on the field right now than Zach Cunningham.
And I agree. Now, like I said, I love what he's doing. I'm loving that he's developing. I see Rental saying that he doesn't get takeaway shit with nothing. This defense doesn't get takeaways like that. I mean,
No, they don't. They're last. They're like they're like last in takeaways. They're at the bottom in takeaways. We're at the bottom in third down. We're at the bottom in points allowed. We're at the bottom in yards allowed. We're at the bottom in points allowed. Like it's just so many reasons that this team on defense sucks. And we told people was like, "Oh, this team got way better." Yeah, if you're gonna say, and just like I said last night, if you're gonna say that we're able to close out and win some games this year that we before this season that we wouldn't have won, okay, I'm with you in that aspect that a couple of guys stepped up, made some plays. But where have they been in a lot of these other games? They either been injured or dudes have not made the impact that you think that they can. So are they just I'm gonna step up for the big game and then just disappear in games like Denver and games like the Tennessee Titans? But don't worry, when it comes to the Patriots or somebody in the playoffs, I'll be ready. No,
yeah,
we need you ready every week. We don't need you ready when you want to be ready.
correct.
You know what I'm saying? We don't want because it's those type of games where you're saying, okay, I made these types of games, this type of play against Tom Brady, pay me. No, it doesn't work like that. Because you come right back, you turn right back around and get destroyed by Drew Lock, and then you get destroyed by Ryan Tannehill, and somehow you expect him to get paid between 10 to 15 million a season. I don't think so, sir. That's game that can be ran on a poo butt, but people who really in the business of making sound decisions know better than that.
Do we have somebody making sound decisions?
No, because this is what I wanted to get into earlier, bro. Bill O'Brien has been somewhat a better GM than he will ever be a coach. But what was his GM had when it came to the pass rush?
Hmm.
You see, it's a lot of things that the secondary could be playing a hell of a lot better if we had a better pass rush. And people said that we had a better pass rush going into the season because
Correct.
we had Charles Omenihu. People said that Clowney was going to get paid. He didn't. Merciless started off because people was like, "Oh man, fuck Clowney." The first month or so
Yeah.
when Merciless was going off, and I know people gonna be like, "Oh man, get off!" But I'm not bringing Clowney in this conversation to say that we need him on the team or some shit like that because that's clearly evident. That's not the point.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, it's how different a day makes, and how soon we forget. How soon we forget that this team will not be as successful and will not have the amount of consistency we know they should have, because it's not like we don't have the playmakers,
Correct.
especially in the secondary now. When you say Reed, Gibson, Roby, Conley, Hargraves, J. Joe, Liney, like you're thinking, okay, nigga, this is stacked. What Cunningham, Cole before he went down. Scarlett was playing good. He's had a couple of bad games. And McKinney. How can you not say the second portion of the field and beyond is not a talented unit? But are they? But they're so talented that they're bottom of the league.
Yeah, and that's part of it. It's the interesting thing you said, because it was, and we like I say, we've owned up on certain things because certain things have changed from the beginning of the year. I mean, you talk about the roster changes, you talk about things that were unexpected. You have I would say you have. Let me see. You have Roby, Lonnie, you have Conley, you have Hargrave. So you got 4 young corners out there.
Philip Gaines too, and J. Joe.
Yeah, and but Gaines out though. Ain't he on IR?
I don't know. I was just putting his name out there because he was in the lineup at one point.
But I think he came in and went out. But like I say, even though right now, I mean, just what you have available to access right now. And J. Joe, know J. Joe old ass, he kind of 50-50 right now. But you have 4 young corners. And again, Hargraves, Conley, guys you did not expect to have at the beginning of the season, right? So that's half your guys out there almost. And so people were saying, the secondary was better when it was still Colvin. Like I said, when you had who else? It was somebody else out there that was terrible. But people were saying, this year was coming in. They improved since then, right? They improved since then, and then people were saying that, like you said, the defense overall was going to be better. It hasn't been seen, but here's my thought is, again, and like I say, that the pieces are there. If you got guys like McKinney, you got guys like Zach Cunningham leading the AFC, but with a significant margin. I think he's probably about 10, 15 tackles ahead of the next guy in the AFC. But I think in the league, it's like, I think it's 2 people ahead of him. I forgot who the 2 were. But, like, you have talented players. And again, we have, like I say, these DBs. When we saw in the Patriots game that they've utilized properly to their strengths, can be very can look very good. But for some reason, everything's not falling in place. You see, Jacob Martin's come in. We had questions about him during the trade, but he's shown that he can get a little pressure on the passer when given the opportunity. Like you said, a minute he has made plays here and there when given the opportunity. But yet, it's like, what's going on? Why can't all these things be put together the same way we said last year? Why can't you find a way to have 3 guys utilizing their strength in Merciless, Watt, and Clowney on the field at the same time in positions of strength, as opposed to just having them out there? You had Merciless in coverage most of the season last year. It's like, why is it so hard to put all these people in place as a legendary defensive coordinator a la Rack is supposed to be? But yet we've seen that he's not capitalizing. And then you see time and time again, even with the improvement in talent, that he's still getting torched or he's not able to get pressure. And that's my concern. And especially going to this game with a guy like Jameis again, who over the last 2 games against teams that Detroit, we didn't face Detroit, but the Colts.
Detroit and the Colts.
And the Colts, he lit the Colts up, put up better numbers on the Colts than we did. And so my thing is, don't feel like, the Texans just gonna walk in here. We just gonna have our way with them. They're gonna find ways to exploit them because, again, Rack is that common denominator. We talk about common denominators with Bill O'Brien. We talk about common denominators on the defense. So I'm expecting the Texans to win this, right? But I'm saying it's this that. Don't think it's going to be a cakewalk. Don't think they just go in here and punch them in the mouth. Now they could. Now if the Texans are clicking on all cylinders, they can handle anybody.
Yeah.
But are they like?
Do you feel?
But do you feel confident that they're going to go in there and do that? And like that's the biggest issue is like the Texans come into these games not only playing against the opponent. The referees haven't been that big of an issue. We can go back to that first Indy game. We can talk about that Deshaun Watson touchdown, but that still doesn't change everything because they played poorly. That was just part of it. Right. But you haven't had a big referee issue. We can maybe pick like 1 or 2 little plays here and there, but those things don't change the outcome of the game. You can talk about that last Titans game, and that didn't win or lose. It wasn't a game changer. So, but it's the Texans playing against themselves. It's the coaching, putting these guys in position. It's like execution. But to me, like I said, that falls on the head coach having your team prepared week in and week out, because you don't you know Tom Brady's getting older. We can talk about that. But if we want to emulate the Patriots, you've never heard of a situation with Bill Belichick not having his guys ready to play.
Right.
Like that. That's not if they get beat, they get beat because either a more talented team came out there and exploited weakness, but it's always going to be a competitive game. You don't see the Patriots get into games like I say prior to this year, because like I said, I think that Tom Brady's getting old. Tom Brady's not the same Tom Brady. We can talk about lack of weapons and all that other stuff, but you don't.
Your defense has to be phenomenal in order to shut down anything, and it's only a few teams in existence, bro. The Chiefs, like early, like week 2 or week 3 in 2014, they beat the shit out of the Chiefs, the shit out of the Patriots on Sunday Night Football. I'll never forget that game. And the AFC Championship game in 2015, the year that Cam was the MVP. Man, did y'all see the way Denver handled? They handled the fucking Patriots. No. You have to have a phenomenal defense to do that. And I can say if Rack, well, he's past his prime, but the only way Rack sticks with anything going forward, he has to have a team similar to the fucking 2016 defense, or he has to have an opportunistic defense in the 2014 defense. Say what you will, that wasn't the most talented defense we had, but we were like number one in takeaways that season. Yeah. In his first season, and we were doing this with no names like Darrell Williams and Daryl Johnson and just goofball. You were like, wait, who? Jamal Rowe, and you know what I'm saying? And guys like that. And it's just like, when you doing shit like that, because honestly, I feel this way, Honcho. I feel like 2 specific players are going to get exposed in this game. And Hargrave's play has dipped off the last, 2 games or so. Like, he was giving up touchdowns to fucking Edelman. Last week, the fucking against Drew Lock, he looked horrible. Last week, he didn't really look good. He kind of picked it up at the end, but, I don't know, man. I think Jameis, bro, is going to end up having the upper hand on him.
You don't think there's a situation where he goes back home? The same way we say when players come back to Houston, he go back to his hometown and ball out. He got friends and family at the game. He bought them tickets. He ain't going to ball out?
Him and Lonnie will be a detriment in this game. I'm going to go as far as to say they're going to be a detriment as far as they're going to either get beat or it's going to be some massive penalties downfield because this is the game where Jameis can literally throw the ball down the field so many times and just hope that a fucking PI call or a holding happens. And this secondary will give it to him all day long. And that if they win, it's going to be because, bro, we getting penalties out the ass on defense, especially in the secondary. So if you see that, just know who said it first. And it's just gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? Why is these dudes can't? They gonna have to play. They're gonna have to play, sprinkle in some zone here and there. But blitzes, you do it. It should be no reason just because you dropping somebody back in zone. You can drop 6 in zone or 5, or you can drop five in coverage and then just zone up everybody else. Leave somebody deep in the middle. That's how I feel. We need to run a lot more cover 3 or something like that. If we are gonna run zone, funnel them in and run cover 3. There's no reason for you to be running cover 2 this game. Even with Cunningham in the middle, I still would feel a lot better if we were to be running cover 3.
So, what do you feel like the Texans are most vulnerable on defense?
I said Lonnie and Hargraves. I think somehow, some way, they're gonna try to find, because Jameis knows how to play against him. Conley is gonna be the one motherfucker who out here making the most of the plays. Yeah. I think he's gonna make that evident. He's been making the plays since we didn't have him, and that's why I like his mentality above anybody else in the secondary as it stands right now. But Justin Reed and Gibson gonna definitely have to be on their P's and Q's today, and this can't be the game where you miss time and picks and shit like that, because if you miss time anything with the speed that they got, even especially with a guy like Perriman, oh my God, if this dude hits you with a double move, if this guy hits you with a post corner or a post or a streak, and you are not where you're supposed to be and nobody is over the top, bro, it's going to be a long day. And O.J. Howard, expect him to have a big fucking game. I'm just going to say it right now. I think he's going to end up having 160 yards, like 8 catches and 2 touchdowns. That's seriously what I think he's going to end up having. That's part of my motherfucking words. I'm giving it to you a little early, but since we are talking about the Bucs, I am going to give them somewhat of their respect because James is a quarterback. At any given time, this motherfucker can light your motherfucking punch your lights out.
Yeah.
And it's like when he wins big, he wins big.
Yeah.
It ain't no close game. It's gonna be something. You're gonna be like, bro, damn, James did that.
Yeah, it's a gamble with James. But they talking about they already gonna bring it back. They talking about they don't know if they're gonna transition tag him, if they're gonna franchise tag him, or what's gonna happen with it. But
I can
obviously,
understand
he's
the
impressed the last couple of
trepidation
weeks.
for not moving too soon on Jameis, and I can understand for having optimism towards Jameis because you gotta understand Jameis didn't have this type. Jameis has had some beautiful schemes last year. Great scheming. So offensive wise, Tampa has been top 5 2 years in a row. And it don't even seem like it. Nobody even talks about that. For a good portion of the season, they were number 1 for the most part last year. And I know they finished as one of the top offenses. And look, at the end of the season, what are they doing? They one of the top offenses in the league. Points scored, yards. Like, Jameis is leading the league, I want to say, in passing touchdowns with like 30s and shit like that. Yeah, he going to throw some picks, but he going to throw more touchdowns than picks.
Yeah, that's what's going to count. Because it's what's about the thing about a touchdown compared to what a pick is. What do you do with that pick? What do you do with that turnover? If you don't score off that turnover, it's you stop a drive, but if you can't capitalize on it, it doesn't matter. But a touchdown is points on the board, so you got to stop that. Like that's the bigger issue.
I don't think this is a game where he can get the ball right out of the gate and immediately go up a score because I don't think the Texans defense is going to be able to counter that at all. If he goes up and he finds a way to get it done and gets it done swiftly, like similar to the way that we scored against the Seahawks, if he comes out like that, like less than a minute, and he put up a touchdown against us, this game probably going to be worse than the Denver game.
Ooh, so you think if they
come out the gate, worse than
if they punch us in the mouth out the gate, you expect it to be worse?
Yeah.
Okay. We're 148 deep, man. 73 likes. We need what was that? 27 likes, man. Let's get them 27. Let's get to 100, man. This is 100 likes. Look, it's enough of y'all to make that happen. Hit that like button, man. That shit free. Hit the dislike button. I don't give a shit. Just hit one of them buttons. Hit a button. Goddamn. So it's about that time, to do the mark my motherfucking words. We got about 10 minutes left before we get ready to get into this game, man. To mark my motherfucking words. And if you don't know what mark my motherfucking words is, that means you have to make a bold prediction. You got to go out on a limb. You got to put some numbers out there. Either you say it's something that's going to happen in a game that is generally unlikely, or maybe a statistical anomaly. If you come out and say, "Well, I think DeAndre is going to have 5 catches for 73 yards and 1 touchdown," that's a basic. That's a basic. We don't want that basic. We want a bold prediction. Like you got to go out on a limb. So put that hashtag mark my motherfucker. So hashtag MMMFW, so that way, I can try to see it in the chat, so I'll shout some of y'all out. And then we'll do a score prediction at the very end, right before we close it out. But the week, like I say, now what's the one you had earlier? Make sure I jot that down. That you said with OJ, and then what's the rest of your mark my motherfucking word?
For OJ, I see him getting 8 catches for 160 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Okay. 2 touchdowns.
So just about every time he touches the ball, that's what that equates to a 20 yards per average, per catch. So he's going to have a big day against us. I see this game where 70 let's see, my score is going to be 38-35 Texans. I think this is going to be a shootout because both defenses suck so bad. But I think the only real step of what we really have them is the safeties. I think the safeties are going to be able to come up, and I think a guy like Condi is going to be able to make big plays when it counts, and that's what's going to end up keeping, a couple of points or a missed field goal or something like that out of the way for Jameis. But I think it's going to be 38-35 Texans. I see us scoring. The total for this game is going to be in the 70s. I just feel like that, and I think this will be Deshaun Watson's second 400-yard game this season.
Okay. All right. So how many you got Watson putting up through there?
I got Watson. I got him throwing for four touchdowns, and I see Duke or Carlos Hyde. I see one of them a combination of the running backs is going to end up scoring a rushing touchdown today.
Okay. And Kaim is going to be money today.
I say he misses, bro. I say he misses. I say he misses a P. I think he's going to miss a couple of PATs, and he might miss one field goal today.
Okay. Now,
he didn't do this last week, but I'm saying this because I don't want this motherfucker to miss anything.
Yeah.
But it's just, you just don't know. You don't know.
It's sad when you got to go negative on the predictions to hope that the team wins. That's look when you go negative, they end up winning, and when you go too positive, they fucking end up losing. A couple of things too before I get mine, and I mentioned we didn't get a chance to cover this too much, but there are playoff implications on this game. You win this game, you seal the deal. We didn't really talk about this, so I want to make sure we get this in. So here's my deal. Like, with this, and because I don't know the scenarios that it would take for the Titans to still make it in or whatever. I don't know exactly. I know that you got Bills and Patriots after this. With the games on the line, we've seen when it's time for the Texans to solidify their fate that occasionally they struggle, or maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know about being maybe mentally unprepared. So you feel like you're confident that coming to this game, the Texans seal the deal. They win another division. The mediocre fans are happy. The rest of us are wanting more.
Right.
But you're confident today they seal the deal. If they win today, do they rest players? Not your own opinion, but what do you think? Do they rest players next week? If they
better not rest no motherfucking players. You better go. You better come back to the H. You better give the mojo back to your players and give them confidence to come back on the field and get a dominant fucking win against Tennessee. You have been dominating this team at home for the last 3 years. Why can't you continue to keep the trend going? It is no reason we should not beat them by double-digit points. We've already seen how hard it was to play them in Tennessee. So I don't see those same things happening. I see a guy like Jonnu Smith. He just gonna make plays against us because he's made plays against us the last 2 games we've played. So I see him being on a terror. I don't want to see Roby ever play against fucking AJ Brown again. I don't ever want to see that again. If he plays against this dude, then they could very well win the next game, especially if they continue throwing them out routes. And I think they're going to have to find somebody totally different to guard. They're going to have to put Conley on him. I don't trust Roby to play against that dude whatsoever. And we have to blow this team out.
Okay. I agree. I think you got to make a statement. I definitely think you got to make a statement in this one. I'm going to go with my motherfucking words and score prediction. Like I say, ultimately, the score prediction, in my opinion, is going to be, I'm going to call it 34-27. I expect a couple of field goals. I expect the Texans to not complete drives and settle for a couple of field goals, settle for 3 where they should be going for 7. But I feel like the defense gets opportunistic today, similar to how they were in Tennessee, because they were opportunistic in Tennessee. You know, they just a replay. And I think, and that's to me, when you're opportunistic, that's more of a sign of players than coaches to me, because Reed made big plays last week.
He did.
And then like I said, you had Lonnie make a big play on special teams. So that's more players to me than coach. But again, coach should have them in the right position. But that Reed play was pure Reed. We've seen Reed do this time and time again. But I think they get opportunities today, capitalize on a mistake or two. I'm not saying they're gonna stop much of shit, but I think it's just in those kind of situations, red zone, they may capitalize, they may have a stop, a stall, a drive, something like that. So I'm gonna go 34-27. I wanted to go a little bit higher, but I just got a feeling, they'll benefit. I'm gonna go with Watson. I'm gonna have him a little bit lower. I'm gonna say he gets 3 through the air. I think, like I say, I agree that you have. I'm gonna say Johnson gets you 1 on the ground, and like I said, I think Hop gets you 2 for 100. I think Steels gets you 1. I think defensively, I'm going to go out on a limb because I've been hating on the man all year. And he's been close with no cigar. I'm going to say old ass J-Joe gets you a pick. He's going to get picked on today, I feel like. But I think, again, like I said,
who you think's going to take advantage of?
I think that he matches up on Pyramid. I think he gets worked, and then I think that he take, like I say, it's just going to be a simple mistake because Pyramid's hands are, you have questions. He can have a gaff or two, and I think that it may be a situation where he just capitalizes because J. Joe's in the area, in the vicinity, but sometimes it's a timing situation. So I think he times one right. Jameis is good for giving you a loaf of bread every now and then. And so I think J.
You
Joe
think
kind
he
of,
actually takes it away the way he should have on that Noah Fant play he gave up at the beginning of the Denver game?
yeah,
Because he was all over that
yeah,
route.
yeah. I
He
think
was all over, but he actually makes it this time.
Yeah, I think he makes the play. So I'm gonna give J. Joe some love today. I'm gonna give J.
Okay.
Joe some love today. Normally I've been shitting on J. Joe. I'm gonna let him look for his last year. He got to capitalize one, but as his last year in the Texans uniform, he got to make a play to let us know why we appreciated him all these years prior. But outside of that, man, like I say, I just defensively I don't expect too much. I don't expect him to stop. I expect Winston to put up some yards, to put up some numbers. But I don't think they pull away until late in the fourth. And like I say, so it'll be interesting with that. But let me get a couple of y'all mark my motherfucking words before we get ready to wind it down. I see Go DJ saying 38-21. I see 33-24 Texas. Shout out to Hector Flores. Man, look, hey, man, y'all shout out to Hector.
Shout
Man,
out to Hector, man.
been
He
doing
holding
big
down
things.
South TV.
Exactly. Been graduated, man, and recently leveled up in age. He's doing big things, man. Shout out to Hector, man. I just let you know, man, we appreciate you, everything that you got going.
Absolutely, bro.
Shout out to David Giroux says 34-27 Texans get the dub. I see 37-24 Texans. I see 34-10 Texans. Okay, Arturo, you say that the defense is going to show up today. 31-27
The over
Texans.
for this game is like 51.
Mm-hmm.
So the over and under for this game is like 51 points. Most people got this game going over, and the reason why I think this game could go over versus last week's game, bro, like Jameis consistently has put up a level of production that's, he throws for a lot of yards, he throws a lot of touchdowns. Yes, he makes a lot of mistakes, but his production is way more truer than anything Ryan Tannehill and the Titans have done on a consistent basis. And I can trust fucking Jameis to not disappoint.
Yeah.
I know the last time we played them, when we played them at NRG, we won by 10 points. Yeah, that game was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of balls were being thrown in the dirt by fucking Ryan Mallett. But I think he's taking this game to another level now that, he's in year 5.
Yeah.
So I expect him, bro, to be throwing some passes. And just, I expect him to have dudes open all game because who the fuck is going to rush on him?
Okay. Yeah, shit, it's game time. It's about that time. Let's get ready to wrap it up. I agree, not Arturo. Tony Ayo say watch they lose, it'd be like 20-something to 10, and then we bash them. Hell yeah, if they don't put points on the board, I would talk a bunch of shit. And yes, Charlo will win.
Damn sure is.
So it's Charlo fight tonight. So yeah, you already know what's going to happen with that. But with that being said, man, like I said, it's time now. Let's slide up out of here. Appreciate all y'all. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. We'll be here immediately after the game. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Most of all, y'all stay saucy. And we gonna slide.
Perfect.